What's up, everybody? It's your boy Piston Mike. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell button for your boy. 7% of you guys are not subscribed. I don't know why. It don't cost you anything, not even a nickel or a dime. Let's get into today's video, man. We out here. We gonna talk about players we want to see in the Pistons uniform. In this upcoming draft, maybe / free agency. Who knows? No, featuring my special guest. Make sure you go to the website. Go to the website, DetroitBadBoys.com, and go support them, please, man. And I'm about to bring them on right now. Hey, what's good, bro? How you been?
I'm all right.
That's good to hear. So, like I said, make sure you go to DetroitBadBoys.com. Go support his articles and go look at them. They will be in the link in the description. And what we are talking about today is guys we want to see in the Piston uniform. I believe it was draft prospects, or was it free agency, or whatever. I'm guessing.
I think we could do both, right?
Yeah. One guy for me is another guy that's kind of a point guard that I would think it'd be interested fit to Cade. I don't know if you would feel the same as Ty Washington.
Yeah, I like Tata and like the Kentucky guards. You can't deny at this point that like every Kentucky guard that's come out since like Devin Booker's just worked in some way, shape, or form, whether it's, Devin Booker, Tyrese Maxey, I'm sure I'm forgetting, Emmanuel Quickly, I'm sure I'm forgetting like a couple other guys in there, Tyler Hero. They all work out, even if their numbers don't look great, whatever, and then they show up in the league and they just kill, So I do not dislike him. The only thing I think that's odd in the scouting profiles, he doesn't shoot that many threes. I'm looking at him right now. He only shot 83 so far on the season. That's 3.2 per game. So it's de-emphasized, but he is shooting a ridiculous percentage from the mid-range. Like he's a legitimate mid-range savant. Let me pull up those numbers. Yeah, so he is shooting 47.1% from the mid-range. Oh my gosh, and he's shooting 70% at the rim. So he's finishing. He is getting those mid-range shots at a high clip. So maybe that's just for me like something that shouldn't really be a thing. And Tyrese Maxey shot like 32% in his 1 year there at Kentucky, and he's shooting like close to 40% now, I think, at Philly. So maybe it's not a thing even. I think he would work great. He's like 20 something. Rafael Barlow from NBA Draft Junkies pointed this out. There's only like a couple months difference between Wendell Moore's age and Ty Washington's age. So like if you wanted a younger dude, Ty's not that guy.
Interesting. Yeah, I just like he's real crappy. I don't think he's above around athlete, but he's real crappy.
Yeah.
So
he's just somebody that's just going to work too. Like again, the Kentucky guards, none of them have been bust in a while. And yeah, he's not flashy. Like you said, he's not getting up there highlight dunks. He's not going to be splashing threes left and right, but I just gave you the numbers. He's finishing at the rim. He's hitting mid-range shots, and he also defends, so he can be the point guard defender to Cade's, wing.
Who's the guys you want to talk about first?
Well, number one is Nikola Jovich. We've mentioned him off and on, 6'10", 205 pounds. Serbian, he's playing over in the Serbian league right now. His numbers don't look like that awesome on first glance, but again, it's a different game in Europe. Like it's rare that they just give the ball to one dude and say like, go to work and everybody else clears out. So he's averaging, make sure these are the right stats for this year. Yeah, he's averaging 10.2 points per game, shooting 38% from the field, not great, 30.5% from three. He's pretty down right now. But he's averaging 3.5 assists per game, which is the main reason why I like him, he operates like a gigantic guard, like a 6'10", legitimate guard. He has a 21.1 assist percentage.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the and he's one of those guys that it requires you to study a lot of film. If you're asking for another like big creator, then I think he's the guy to go with. He's also their primary, like the 3-point numbers don't look great, but when you actually look at the totals, which I can give you here in a second, he leads his team, and he plays for KK Mega BMAX over in Serbia. He leads his team with 82 3-pointers. That's almost 30 more than the next closest guy. So he is their primary floor spacer at 6'10", 205. Also, if you look at his play from this last FIBA U19 in the summer, he led Serbia in points and rebounds. He was third on the team in assists. He led them to the bronze medal game. They fell short against Canada. But again, this is a guy that knows how to play this like wing spacer, forward spacer, lunching up 3-pointers in team play. But then as the primary guy on the Serbian team, like he scored a bunch of points, he brought in all those rebounds, he continued to play make. He's just a very unique guy. He's hard to find a comp for too, is the thing. Like I'm sure people are probably going to throw out like Tony Kukoc because anytime that these tall white guys from Europe that can handle and shoot, like that's the comp, right? But it's close, but it's also kind of not there because I think he is more of a guard. He operates out of pick and roll. He hits guys and rolls. He throws up lobs, like perfect lobs to his centers. He's super unique. But the main thing is he sucks at defense. Like he's so bad. Like there's no way to hide that. He makes some stupid fouls, like just doesn't always stick with the play. That'll be something that he really, really has to work at. But again, I kind of take the track record of these Serbian guys. All these Serbian guys from Boban to Bogdan Bogdanovic to Nikola Jovic. These are Serbian dudes. They've all gone through the same developmental track in the international team. And they all had these defensive question mark. Nemanja Bjelica, who's on the Warriors now, is another guy. Mm-hmm. And then none of them ever became a bad defender. And none of them ever became a negative on defense. So that would be my bet on that end too. Again, 6'10", 205, operates like a point guard out of pick and roll, is a good floor spacer. The numbers don't always bear it out. Again, this is another one where like Luka, 3-point numbers were like 31% from three or whatever his final year in Europe. Those don't always bear out, but I believe in him for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting prospect. He definitely give you I don't want to butcher his name, but from the Denver Nuggets, he definitely gives me the same vibe as Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, Jokic, yeah. Different kind of player because Jokic is a center and Jovic is more of a ball handler. But like what people talk about Poku, you actually see that in a professional basketball setting with Jovic getting out, running, passing, hitting threes, actually handling the ball.
Yeah. Definitely interesting guy. But a guy that I want to talk about is been one of my favorite guys. I'm surprised he didn't come out last year, UCLA, when he had that hot run. No other than Johnny Juzang, excuse me. Mr. Juzang. Yeah. I like him.
Me too, I agree. He's not shooting as many threes, but I mean, that's his main thing. Kind of operates out of the mid post a lot of times too. He's really legitimately 6'10", 210 pounds. Again, he's mainly a shooter, and he mainly operates like off the ball, but he will take like 1 or 2 dribble pull-ups. He has this mid post game where anytime he's on a smaller dude, it seems like he will post him up and he'll do a little baby hook or turnaround shot, and he's good. I mean, he's their primary scorer. The knock on him, obviously, is athleticism. That seems to be what everybody's deal is with him, and why he went back is if you listen to a lot of the draft coverage guys like Rafael Barlow, who's at NBA Big Board now, and Game Theory, Sam Vecini, and Matt Penny, they both talked about, he went to the combine, and the feedback he got was that he's just not athletic enough, or he's not showing enough there, and that's kind of stuff that it's like, I'm not sure how much of that's going to change. the perception on him. But I see him a lot similar to somebody like a Reggie Bullock, where it's like he works. He's a shooter. He doesn't demand the ball. Like he can play with anybody, right?
Mm-hmm. That's why I see him as like a shooter, microwave scorer. If you need some buckets, run them off of pin downs, all of that. I see all of that in his game. I think also you said he can self-create a little bit more than people think.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I mean, even though the comp is like Reggie Bullock, he definitely has way more like off the bounce game than Reggie Bullock. Doesn't do a ton of pick and roll, but he can operate that some. I mean, UCLA's offense is kind of like, everybody gets a chance and everybody has to handle the ball a little bit, whether it's Jaquez, whether it's Bernard, or whether it's Tiger Campbell. Like everybody has to be able to do that. So he has a little bit of it, not like he's going to be breaking anybody down, but especially with Caden Sadiq, like this is a guy that can fit in between him. He doesn't need to be breaking dudes down off the dribble because Caden Sadiq can kind of already do that. And this is a guy that will just supplement them with being able to, consistently space the floor, attack off the dribble a lot of times, and he's at 6'7", 210. He can take advantage of two guards because there are not a lot of 6'7", 210, shooting guards in the NBA even.
But who is your second guy that you would want to see in the Pistons uniform?
I mean, Benedict Matheran, we talked about it a little bit last time. He's definitely my guy because, again, all he does is like shoot threes and dunk, and it's like he does that both very well, and he can just start off his career attacking closeouts. Where, again, we have Caden Sadiq. They both already know how to, handle the ball. Cade's getting better and better at it. What you need is somebody like that can make people come out to the three-point line and make somebody, have to deal with him at the rim. So Benedict Matheran right now, he's shooting 66.1% at the rim. That's pretty good. He's shooting 31.2% on his two-point jumpers, which isn't great, but that's only 18.6% of his offense, so it's super small. Again, he does not really do anything in between, which is fine. It'd be something if maybe somebody like Oklahoma City drafted him because they have Shea and they have Giddey, but they still want more people to create offense. So that'd be a thing. But again, supplementary guy to Caden and Sadiq. And 44.5% of Matheran's offense comes from the three-point shot. He's shooting 37.9 on that. And again, him and Kirk Reese are really the only guys spacing the floor out there, or I should say out here, since I'm doing this on campus here in Arizona. Like Dalen Terry doesn't shoot threes really. Azelis Tabelis does not shoot threes really. Koloko does not shoot threes at all. So it's Krisa and Matheran always having to provide that consistent floor space, and they do it for the big men to operate mainly. And Balu is Amor Balu, another nice bench big, 7-foot big dude that needs that space, and Matheran consistently provides that kind of space. And again, last time I said Desmond Bane. We're talking about a guy like Desmond Bane who can actually dunk now and has that explosive athleticism. Why would you pass that guy up?
Yeah, I love him, man. I love his game. I think him as a Detroit will work, and he has defensive ability. I like how he goes after. I like how he rebounds, man. We need people who rebound. He'll rebound the heck out of the ball. He gives a lot of effort. I like him a lot. I would love him in Detroit, man. Absolutely love him. But a guy I'm gonna go to is nobody talks about, and let's just say if we wanted to get rid of Jeremy Grant and Barry Smith was off the board and Paolo. A lot of people ain't talking about this guy, but I like him. He's in Iowa, no other than Keegan Murray. I love him a lot. He's a dude that doesn't really do too much, but he works. He can score. They thought it was a fluke at first. And also, he's 6'8", and not only that, he gets I think he's getting about 3 blocks a game. He scores about 22 points a game. and I'm thinking he's shooting like 35% from three and like 50% from the field, somewhere around there. I know.
Yeah, you're close. So he's shooting 64.2% from two, which is ridiculous. 36.1% from three,
Mm-hmm.
71.8 from the free throw line, scoring 23.2 points per game, 2 blocks per game, and then 8.2 rebounds per game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Keegan Murray a lot, man. That'd be one dude. To me, if we were to replace Jeremy Grant and kind of trade him, it's Jabari for me, and then it's Keegan Murray. Just because I think you could put them guys right next to Cade and Sadiq Bey, and they won't demand the ball as much, and they can get their offense, and they're going to get buckets, and they're going to provide you some on the defensive end, too. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody made I do not remember who this was, so I can't like give credit by it because I listen to a bunch of different like draft podcasts and watch a bunch of different shows about the NBA draft and stuff. Somebody made the comparison to Keegan Murray and Marcus Morris, and ever since then I cannot unsee that comp because that does seem like the kind of player he is. Yeah, he's scoring a bunch of points. I was giving him basically everything. He's another guy like a Johnny Davis who if he's not there, I'm not sure that team is any good. Like they need him to score in order to be any good. But again, his role in the NBA is like that Marcus Morris. You play junk defense. You shoot threes at a reasonable clip. You were a 6'8" forward who's around 215, 220. You don't demand the ball. And I remember when Marcus Morris was here in Detroit, Stan Van Gundy talked about him being like the most favorite player he's ever coached, just from being tough and like taking hard coaching and stuff. I feel like that's what Keegan Murray is like too as well, where this is just a dude that can do pretty much anything you want out of this forward, where he can play some small forward, he can play power forward, like he can play both forward spots, and you're just going to feel fine with him up there. He's not going to be splashy, but he's going to do dirty work, and you're going to be good to go. It's just like Marcus Morris. Like, even though you kind of always, like, you can't diss on Marcus Morris, right?
For sure. That's why I like him so much, man. I think he works well. I think he's, got that underdog mentality. He's going to show you about the game. He's not going to really talk that much. And look at what he's doing. People thought that he was going to fall off a cliff as soon as he got in Big Ten play, and he hasn't really.
Yeah, I thought I was one of those people too. Because I was waiting it out. I was like, yeah, dropping like 30 on whoever in the world they were playing, at the beginning of the year. So I thought I was one of those people that thought that, and then he just kept it up, and it's like, all right, he's for real. His shooting splits are good too. 72.4% at the rim, 42% on mid-range jumpers, and then 36.1. I mean, it bears itself out in the true shooting, 63.4% true shooting. That's ridiculous for a lead scorer, right? Anytime you have a lead scorer that has taken 424 shots and he has a true shooting percentage, not just over 60, but over 62%. Like, I do not even remember the last time, or I don't even know if there's anybody else that's been able to, maybe like a Kevin Durant type of thing. And this isn't saying Keegan Murray is going to be Kevin Durant. Don't nobody say that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is rare. And like the next closest guy on his team is Patrick McCaffrey, and he's taken 247 shots compared to Keegan Murray's 424. So again, he's doing incredible heavy lifting for this team, yet he's super ultra efficient.
Yeah, that's why I like him. Who would be your next guy? That's the question.
My next guy is probably AJ Griffin. The league is run by wings, and the medical has to check out first. Obviously, like I think that's the big concern with a lot of people because he's been hurt the past year and a half. I think that's why it took him a while to get back in the lineup. Look at his stats too; they don't look like amazing. It's 10 points right on the dot, even per game, 3.7 rebounds, 1.1 assists. It doesn't look like anything. Shooting 51.5% from two, 48.1% from three-point range, and 75% from the free throw line. 6'6", 222 pounds. Like, physical comparison is Jimmy Butler. He's pretty close to Jimmy Butler. And even though like you're like, yeah, what about these numbers? He's already taken 104 three-point shots, which is more than a lot of other guys on those lists. It's more than Paulo, even on his own team. So he has shown that he can shoot the three, which was kind of a thing that going into the year nobody really knew if he could. Was like a legit shooter, but he definitely has shown that. He's pulled in 104 rebounds. He's only been in 28 games. He's played 609 minutes. So, again, the league is run by wings, and he just has a lot of upside. He hasn't really shown much shot creation just because Duke hasn't asked him to do that as much yet. But I'm always a guy of like, let's just take a upside on a wing, and he's 18, 19 years old. His dad is Adrian Griffin, who's a coach for the Raptors. And the last year before he came to Duke, AJ was just working with his dad in private to train for getting ready for college. So he's had some time to rest and hone his craft there, and it's definitely shown in there. You just don't get too many 6'6", 222-pound shooters that actually have this background too of being a shot creator and being like this 5-star recruit. I mean, I'm going to probably spoil this here. He's number 3 on my board. Just because I would rather take a chance on him over somebody like Chet, because Chet is a big, right? There's just not too many bigs. And for me, I see Chet more as a center too. And again, there's very few centers that impact the game as much as somebody like a wing. You're talking about the difference between somebody like a Paul George potentially and somebody like, I don't know, Domantas Sabonis. They're both great players, but Paul George obviously has a bigger impact on the game than Sabonis type. And Chet's not the same as Sabonis, but that's just the way I view it.
I understand. Yeah. That him becoming something definitely interesting. Like you said.
AJ's shooting 66.7 at the rim, so he's pretty good there. 39.3% on 2-point jumpers, so that'll be something he has to work on.
The medical will have to work out, but I definitely take a chance on. Another guy is a guy that we were just talking about yesterday when it ended. I think his name is Hibachi from Kansas.
Achai Agbaji.
Yeah, that guy, 6'5", shooting the lights out the ball. He's not much of a creator, but I think he's a dude who can come off of pin downs and, come off of screens and light it up. I know he's an athletic dude and a dunker all 4 years at Kansas. I think he's another proven guy. Like you said, if we were to get another first-round pick, this is definitely a guy I'm willing to take a chance on. But he can fit next to Zeke and K. Just do the dirty work, too.
Yeah, I agree, especially if they get another first-round pick. I mean, Agbaji is scoring 20.2 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, 1.7 assists, shooting 56.7 on twos, 44.5% on three-pointers, and then 74.5 at the free throw line. I mean, he's on fire right from three, 44.5. There's not a lot of guys out there shooting over like 42% from three on that volume of attempts too. Oh, I think about half his attempts are from three too. Let me look up his three-point attempt rate is 47.1. So it's not like he's just taking 2 or 3 a game, Yeah, I agree for all the reasons you listed. He just works. He's super athletic. He is like 6'5". Let's see what he's listed at. 6'5", 210. Again, another guy that probably is going to like dunk and shoot threes, but it works, man. It works.
Yeah, for sure. Who would be your next guy that you in the Pistons?
I mean, the other guy, I would probably be Bryce Mcgowan, especially if we're talking about a guy to take a chance on with another pick. I like Agbaji, but I would urge more towards Bryce McGowan's just because he's kind of like a buy low option. Like, if you didn't see the video yesterday, I'll bring the pitch again. 6'7", 179 pounds, but he has a 49% free throw attempt rate, so he's getting to the line almost like half the time he's out there. That's incredibly rare. 49% is super high. And 16.6 points per game, 46.9% from 2, 26.7 from 3. That's the thing he's going to work on. But 83% from the free throw line, I mean, that's a lot. So the 83% from the free throw line, I'm not somebody that's always going to take the free throw percentage to say like, oh yeah, this means this guy can shoot well because it's different for everybody. But at least it indicates he has some sound mechanics to where if you have above 80% from the free throw line, you have to have some sound mechanics that you're being able to repeat and sink those shots. So he has that at least. And again, in between Cade and Sadiq still really are more perimeter players at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have another guy that can take people off the dribble, attack the rim, get to the line, and so it draws extra attention inside to help Cade and Sadiq in those spots as well. I think he's definitely a bad spot to a Nebraska team. He's the second tallest player normally out there. The other guy, Derek Walker, 6'8", 232. That's their center. And again, I'll repeat. I was watching that Jaden Ivey film against Purdue, and McGowan's is like a power forward. He's kind of weak side rim protector. That's where he's stuck at a lot of times, just because he's the second tallest dude out there, and they have to take advantage of his height somehow. He plays with a point guard and Alonzo Verge, who has over 30% usage. So it's just a bad spot. I'll take a bet on him, and with another pick, as this guy who's just going to get to the free throw line, take a while to work on his shot. 6'7", 179. And again, he does not back down from contact at all. That's the thing I love about him the most. He looks for it, and he knows how to draw fouls, which you can see in the numbers.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I agree. I think he's definitely one of the more under radar players. He's skinny tough or skinny strong, whatever. He's not going back down. He's able to back and hit the floor, and he don't mind. But he'd be a nice scorer. I'd definitely take a bet on him too. But
that's the thing too, though. Being that skinny, he actually doesn't hit the floor that often, which is I think KCP is the last guy that was like that, where it's like, yeah, he's skinnier, but like you see him draw contact, and he's not going down that often.
Yeah, okay. So maybe he really do got some muscle that way. Another guy that we've been talking about a lot. He's probably my favorite center prospect, and I'm not really too high on Jalen Duren. I think you getting another Andre 2.0 kind of with him, somewhat. Not too high. I kind of do like Mark Williams, but you told me he looked kind of stiff. But my favorite guy is, if we were to get, I think he's been mostly in the second round now. It'd be Christian Koloko from Arizona. He's been my favorite. He reminds me of a kind of like a Clint Capella, somewhat. I think that's who I best remind me of. Like I can see him.
Yeah, I can see that too. Except he's taller. Like Capella's like 6'10", and Koloko's 7'1", 225. He kind of reminds me a little bit more of Mitchell Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah, so because Mitchell Robinson's about that same size too. Koloko's scoring 12 points per game, 7.4 rebounds, three blocks a game, and shooting 62% from two, 73.6% from the line. Again, he's taken 3 3-pointers, shooting 0% from there, so that doesn't really count. So far, he's pulled in 199 rebounds. The main thing with him is he moves super well for being such a big dude. Going to the games here, that's my biggest impression from him. He's normally these big guys are kind of plodding and like move slow, and it's hard for them to switch. But Koloko gets out on smaller guards. He does not look out of place. He doesn't really get run by. Even the guys like Walker Kessler and Chet, like they get run by, but they're so lanky and long, and they understand how to use those limbs that they know how to recover and still affect the shot when they're on like a dude that's like 6'10" or 6'2", excuse me, not 6'10". Whereas Koloko stays with them, like he's there with them. He's able to keep certain guys in front of him. Quicker guys, he's still able to like be there right next to them instead of them beating him too much. But yeah. Offensively, though, I don't want to say a mess, but he definitely has a long way to go. He doesn't really have touch and go-to moves on there. He's mainly going to be a rim runner in the purest sense of that word so far, which, again, is why I think he's kind of like Mitchell Robinson, because they don't really go to post moves and stuff with Mitchell Robinson. He's mainly in the dunker spot. He's running picks. And that's totally fine. It's just something to consider. And if you're thinking like, oh, yeah, he's going to be even somebody like, I don't know, like a Miles Turner type of offense on the inside, not obviously not the 3-point shooting. Like, it's not going to happen.
All right. Yeah, I would agree. Dislike him overall. It's not really that too many more centers I like. So
Yeah, defensively, like I said, like Mitchell Robinson, you can't fault Mitchell Robinson for his role, or like Nerlens Noel, somewhere between there. Like these guys always work. They're athletic. They get up, catch lobs. They're the kind of player that a lot of us have been, as Piston fans, have been clamoring for at center, of just somebody that can get up there and be the jumpy jump guy that, as Laz Jackson coined it there at Detroit Bad Boys, to catch lobs, to provide actual vertical space.
so do you got one more guy that
Yeah, I mean, this is a deep cut, and it just requires me to like really argue for him. Is Yannick Sosa? Yannick Sosa has had a bad year. There ain't no way around it. Let me see if I can even find numbers for him. But I mean, this is a guy that is another super athletic big man. 6 foot, let's see, 6'10", I believe. Well, I guess some places are listing him at 7 foot. I don't know if that's true or not. 174 pounds. 18 years old. He just started playing basketball 4 years ago, and I think that's the big part that has to be taken into context. The main thing with him is he's like a really good pick and roll finisher. If you go up and look up, just type in Yannick Sosa, NBA Draft Junkies online. I think Rafael Barlow had the best breakdown of him and just being able to show that, number one, he knows how to play pick and roll. Even at 18, even only having 4 years in, like he has that feel to him that is incredibly rare. Super fluid. He will occasionally pull a Giannis and like put the ball on deck, run the full court, dunk it on, not just dunk it on people, but go through guys with the handle. That stuff is still developing. That'll take some time, but you don't see many big men do that. I don't think there's any. Chet's probably the only guy that does that in this big man class other than Yannick Sosa. But he's just an athletic guy to take a bet on. And I think also he doesn't like do a lot of alley-oop dunks a lot of time, but anytime he's throwing lob, he's catching that. Like no matter if it's close to him, no matter if it's a little bit out of his radius, like he catches lobs and finishes them. He might not always dunk them, but he's definitely a finisher and providing vertical space just because you can throw him a lob in his area and he's going to get it. Again, he's only averaging 2.3 points per game right now, 2.1 rebounds. Like he got hurt early in the year. And if you know anything about European basketball, if you're hurt or you're a young guy that's still figuring it out, you're not going to get playing time. So he fell behind the 8 ball there. So like I'm not even going to give you the shooting numbers to throw bad, but I think he still has a lot of potential. He's somebody, again, I would definitely take a roll the dice on with an extra first-round pick because I think he just has a lot of tools that you just can't find a lot of big men.
One dude that I wanted to talk about, he might be a big ball hog, but it's a guy overseas. His name is, I believe, Hugo Besson.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. As he's kind of crafty. Can shoot the ball. I don't know how it will work with K, but I think possibly. I don't know. He's 6'3", but he's definitely an interesting guy. I remember the NBA Draft Junkie, he did a video on him. He said he's one of his most favorite prospects coming out of his draft. I can see why.
Excuse me. Yeah, so he's putting up. He's playing in the Australian NBL right now. He's on New Zealand. He's actually there with Ousmane Dieng, who has done absolutely nothing, unfortunately. But Hugo Bessel is averaging 14 points. Let's see, 4.2 rebounds, 1.5 assists to 1.7 turnovers. I think that's the biggest thing, to be honest, that in defense. And he's pretty inefficient, though. His overall field goal percentage is 38.2, and he's shooting 33% on threes, but he's putting up 6 a game, and I think he's a better three-point shooter than that, and shooting 79.2% from the free throw line. Last season in France, he was shooting 35.7% on 7.2 attempts per game. So again, he's putting up a lot of shots, and his overall field goal percentage is 48. I think that's probably closer to where he's at. 6'3", 196 pounds. He's 20, so he's younger, a younger dude. Yeah, I think you're right about like I'm not sure how this works with Cade, because this is a guy that is like a Lou Williams type of microwave scorer. Definitely has a lot of moves. Somebody that you can tell is like crafted his game on the playground and not in the gym, as they say, working on cones and stuff. Definitely like tries to make people foolish, has a good pull-up game. But it just would be my first question is like, okay, how does this fit with Cade number one? Is this the guy we're bringing off the bench, or is this guy that like can't actually start and play defensively? I'm not sure what level he's at. He definitely has toughness because in the NBL, like that's a physical league, but it doesn't always show like the commitment to wanting to do that. And in France last year, he was kind of the guy on his team, so he didn't always have to show that. So, and then the assist numbers pretty low, 1.5 to 1.79, especially at he's a point guard size, and if he's not going to be able to see the court that well, it's just hard to be under 6'5" and then be a two guard in that kind of spot. I mean, it's like what CJ McCollum, Colin Sexton. Am I forgetting somebody else? Like it's a short list of guys, so right.
Yeah.
Like CJ's a mid-range sniper, and Colin Sexton's just a bucket. So he would have to be that level. If he's not a good playmaker, he would have to be that level of scorer, I think. And even CJ, he's not a bad playmaker. I think he just it's just a de-emphasized part of his game.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's more of an off the bench guy, microwave scorer for us. You put him next to Killian and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's a good guy between Killian and Hamidou, because again, Hamidou's like put pressure on the rim and defend wings, and then Killian is obviously a super good defender, good passer, whereas somebody like a Besson would just be like, hey man, go get some buckets.
Yeah, for sure. Any other guy? Do you have another guy you want to talk about for sure?
Let's see. I mean, there's a lot of guys I really like in here, especially in the second round. I think the second round there's a lot of unsung heroes. I guess I'll kind of run through a three guys that would be power forward / centers that could work in those spots. Number one being Isaiah Mowgli. This is Evan Mobley's brother. He's super underrated in my opinion. He can shoot the three. He's a pretty good defender. I mean, he's leading. At one point, that USC team was undefeated, and he's the guy leading the charge up there. So he's putting up 14.5 points per game, 8.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists. He's a very good passer, shooting 42.9 or 49.2% from two, 37% from three, and then 69.6% from the free throw line. 6'10", 235 pounds, and he shot 100 threes, so that is not on a small sample size. This dude is a legit shooter. He's dished out 88 assists to 45 turnovers. Very underrated. Definitely another guy that just seems like he's going to work in this type of Al Horford type of role. Maybe not going to be that super level of defender that Al Horford is. So I think that's rare, very rare. But I think if you're wanting him to be that kind of player, then yeah, like this is somebody that you should be looking at. I'm surprised he's not getting more consideration within the first round, because those are really good numbers, right? And like you already know his brother can ball. This seems to be like a Morris brothers. I mean, they're not twins, obviously, but still like 6'10", 235 that can pass, that can shoot, and then he's averaging 1 block a game. I mean, it's not incredible, but he's doing it. Another guy in the same mold is Pete Nance. I think he's the brother of Larry Nance Jr. and Larry Nance Jr.'s other son. He's playing for Northwestern. So again, going back to my Big Ten roots, he's averaging. Let's see, his measurables are 6'10", 225 pounds. He's averaging 15 points a game, 6.3 rebounds, 2.6 assists, so he can pass some too. Shooting 51.4% from two, 44% from three, and then 78.9% from the free throw line. He has shot 84 threes, so again, not small sample size. He's dished out 67 assists to 37 turnovers, and he's pulled in 163 rebounds. This is a dude that, again, is severely underrated, I think, in my book. Really good rebounder, another good passer. I think Mowgli and he are pretty even in that regard in terms of being able to pass. Mowgli might edge him out a little bit, and I think Nance is probably the better shooter because, like, Northwestern, they're not exactly a powerhouse. So every game, everything's being thrown at Pete Nance, like the junk defense, all that stuff. Like, they're 13 and 14 right now, Northwestern. Let's see. The other guys on the team that like kind of help them out are, let's see, Boo Bui and Chase Audi. Boo shoots 40 or scores 14.7 points per game, so he's pretty close. But he's shooting 39.8% from the field, and then Chase is 10.8 points per game, so significantly less. And he's shooting 36.1% from the field. So again, Pete Nance has to keep up the scoring, and he's doing it super efficiently. The last guy who fits in this same kind of category is, unfortunately, he got hurt a couple games back, and so he's done for the year. Is Malik Osborne. He's at Florida State, 6'9", 225 pounds. This is his fifth year, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so this is his fifth year, so he's a little bit older. Scored 10 points per game, 6.9 rebounds, 0.9 assists. So he's going to be one that's not the passer like the other guys are. 45.9% from two, 35.7% from three, and then 83.1% from the free throw line. These Florida State guys, too, the numbers are always going to be less because the way Leonard Hamilton works there, like, everybody gets involved. Like, the ball's moving around a lot, so it's very rare anybody scores over, like, 12 points per game. I mean, go back and look at, like, Scotty Barnes, Terrence Mann, what's his name, the Beasley up that plays in Minnesota now. Like, they all did not have great, like, counting stats, but they ended up being good pros. Another guy that can rebound, he could defend fours and fives, and shoot that three. Is a really good free throw shooter as well. Pretty good rebounder. Like, these are all guys in the second round, like, for sure I'd be like lining up to get, especially Pete Nance and Isaiah Mobley. Like, Isaiah Mobley, I would definitely be one of those guys that if they got an extra first round pick and I would had any influence there in the room, I'd be like, yo, we need to take this guy. Pete Nance, I believe, is a senior. Let me go back and tell you these. Yeah, Pete Nance is a senior. Malik Osborne's a fifth-year guy, and then Isaiah Mobley is a junior. So Mobley's probably going to be the younger of the three. But all these, power forward center guys that I think should be, like, I would definitely want on the team, no doubt.
For sure. Definitely interesting. Yeah, I like Isaiah Mobley a lot. That's probably who I know a lot. Not definitely. I can see him working out in Detroit. Interesting. I know he's decent athletically. I don't know if he's crazy athletic. I think he got a buff. He could shoot and do everything as well. He'd definitely be interesting. But one guy that I did want, but I don't really want no more. He's kind of been out. He's been hurt. I really wanted Terrence Shannon Jr. from Texas Tech, but now I'm like, with the back injuries, I'm good, man.
Yeah, that sucks, man. I was a big fan of his too, but yeah, the back injuries, that sucks. So I hope he gets well,
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's one guy I want. Now on to free agents. Is there any free agents that you want Pistons to go after? Or?
I mean, this free agent class sucks for one. Like, just go look it up on Spotrac or whatever. Especially the unrestricted free agents. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. Really, it's a short list for me. It starts with DeAndre Ayton, Miles Bridges, Colin Sexton. That should be 1, 2, 3, right? They're all restricted guys, so you're gonna have to overpay for them. I think Ayton is worth just throwing a max at just to see, right? Because he's anchored a defense. Like, out of the way of the finals, he's like 23 years old, Phoenix might be too cheap to pay him because Robert Sarver's an idiot and has done this in the past. So that's at least one. Miles Bridges, let me look at his numbers again because I just looked at his numbers recently because he was shooting like 40-something% from three,
Mm.
and the last time I looked at him, he's shooting like 30% from three. So I think that's a big, to me, that's a big thing because if you're signing Miles Bridges, you're probably replacing Jeremy Grant, right?
Mm.
Um, right now, Miles Bridges is scoring 19.9 points per game, 7.3 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and then shooting 58.9% from two, which is awesome, 30.5% from three, which is not so awesome, and then 79.8% from the free throw line. I'd still want him because, again, he's another guy that provides vertical space, awesome lob threat, awesome screen setter. But I don't know, like if he's shooting that low from three, like what's his impact going to be? But I trust Troy Weaver. Like if Troy Weaver was like, hey, this guy's worth the max. At this point, I trust him enough that would be somebody. But he definitely would be number two because he does a lot of good things. And he's from Flint, so shout out Flint. Always want to bring those guys back home. And then Colin Sexton. I'm still a Colin Sexton believer and a big fan. I
Mm.
actually think he would work well next to Cade. He could be the point guard defender. He doesn't play make at a high level, but he wouldn't need to with Cade, right? And even Sadiq has stepped up in that regard. So he really would just need to get buckets. You can also stagger his minutes with Cade the way Portland did with Dame and CJ, right? Where you can let Sexton kind of run the second unit for a while, and you always have a guy on the court that's a 20-point per game scorer, whether it's Cade or whether it's Sexton. I think he'd work. And I mean, I'm not really counting this year, but I'm pretty sure Sexton shot like 40% from three every year. Let me look at this up before I speak out of turn. Oh, excuse me. So last year he shot 37.1% from three. The year before was 38%, and his rookie year he shot 40.2%. So he's like a proven three-point shooter.
Mm.
And 16.7 points per game his rookie year, 20.8 points his second year, and then last year was 24.3. He's somebody I believe in as a scorer. And again, 6'1", 190. He can be like the point guard defender
Mm.
next to Cade and Sadiq can handle the main playmaking duty as well, while Sexton's a scorer. On the unrestricted free agent market, I mean, it's Bobby Portis is probably my one guy I would want them to go after. Number one, so it keeps them from drafting a center. I really don't want them to draft a center, especially if they're in the top 5, top 10.
Mm.
I think somebody like a Bobby Portis works because he puts pressure on the rim. He can shoot three. We've seen what he does in Milwaukee and helped them win a title last year. Mitchell Robinson, I'd be down for. I know they had interest in him, right?
Mm.
They reported that out there. I don't know what it would cost. I don't remember if he's a restricted or an unrestricted free agent though. But again, athletic, a young guy. He's like 22, 23. He fits the timeline. He's a good defender. Provides a lob threat for Cade and Sadiq and company. He works. And beyond that is like Gary Payton Jr. would be the only other one that I can think of off the top of my head because I've looked over these a lot. GP2, he's come on a lot this year with Golden State, finally kind of found his role after having trouble catching on with a bunch of different teams. He is very athletic, 6'3", 190 pounds. He can be the one or the two. He's definitely the main thing is defense. He's won Defensive Player of the Year in the G League. He's doing that right now with Golden State being like primary point guard defender for Steph and Clay and those guys. He is scoring 6.9 points per game, 3.4 rebounds, zero point 0.8 assists. So that's something that like they wouldn't want to rely on him. But he's shooting 75.6% on his 2-point shots, which is ludicrous. And then 37.5% from three. And then, let's see, 58% from the free throw line. So his stats are a little bonkers. But as that point guard defender who can shoot threes, it's de-emphasized in his game. But he's somebody that puts pressure on the rim with his athletic ability and mainly this defender. He is 29 years old, so he's a little bit older. But I think he's somebody that'd be worth taking advantage over, especially if you're looking to replace Corey Joseph. I think this is somebody that's more unique and should be rewarded for all this hard work he's put in. He's been in the league 5 years now.
Yeah, I definitely like Gary. Payton Jr. He's definitely underrated. He's got like that dog mentality he brings.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would love to see him in Detroit. Mitchell Robinson is another guy I wouldn't mind, depending on
Yeah.
price. Um, I would pay Colin Sexton before I would pay Jalen Brunson. That's just me. Like you said, I believe he's a scorer. He's a proven talent. And if Cleveland, I'm thinking they probably don't really need him because they got Darius Garland and now they got Karis LeVert. And Sexton might be out the door. You might be able to get him. So it all depends on what Cleveland wants to do, but I would like him. I don't. I think I looked this up. I don't know if it's true or not. I think he might be unrestricted or restricted. The dude from Oklahoma City, one of them guards, Luke Dortz, I believe.
Oh no, he signed long term, I think. Let me
Oh,
look that up real quick. Yeah, I mean, I would love Ludort too.
I was about to say if he
I
didn't.
can't believe he went undrafted. He was one of those guys that like I would picked up in the second round. Like I would be definitely up there screaming like, get him on the phone. I can't believe he went undrafted. He was good coming out of Arizona State.
Yeah.
Where are you at, Ludort? Yeah, he signed this year next.
No, but
1.7 this year and then 1.9. I think those are both like team controlled stuff too. So he's he's there. Let me find the conditions on this. Yeah, so 21, 22, and then next year's contract are partially guaranteed. So everything here is team controlled. Yeah, sadly, but yeah. So he won't be a free agent until 2023, next summer. He's definitely somebody I think they would like if they're like planning long term. Like, yeah, just sign some veterans here, throw some money at them for 1 year, and then next year like go after a Lou Dort. That seems like perfect guy to fit in between Akeda and Sadiq as like this bulldog guard to wing. I mean he guards what 1 through 4 almost 1 through 3. Definitely can guard some fours, and then definitely has crafted his game to be more of a 3-point shooter. The percentages aren't like fantastic, but he's playing in Oklahoma City where it's Shea and then everybody else in terms of being able to score, right?
yeah, for sure. He's just one guy that I know brings dog on the defense, and he will score at a high rate, which is pretty good. So, um, but one thing I want to talk to you about, out of all the Pistons that we have on our roster, who do you think we will get an extra picks on draft night, and who will we trade on draft night? If you had to bet.
I think right now it's only Grant that would be like traded. I thought Olynyk, but Olynyk has not looked good. And if he continues to struggle this much, like he's a negative value. I don't know why anybody would want him. And we'd probably have to do another like Mason Plumlee type, which was odd to me. I thought Mason Plumlee was a positive, and then they had to trade like a pick along with him for Charlotte. Take him. He's doing good in Charlotte. I don't understand that deal. But yeah, Olynyk would probably be the only other one. Maybe Corey Joseph, but I feel like backup point guard is one of those markets that's there's a lot of them, and I don't know anybody that would want to trade for Joseph unless they're just like a super fan of his that they didn't feel like they could get that same type of backup guy on the market just without having to trade anything. And then, I mean, Bagley's in a restricted free agent. I really don't see Troy trading any of his dudes yet, even Killian. Yeah, that's it. I think like unless Kelly Olynyk goes on this like tear where he's just draining threes and playing tough defense, like yeah, he would be the only other one I would think could return something. But if he's playing this bad, no, it's just Grant at this point.
So do you think Grant will get traded on draft night? And we think it's gonna be the Blazers, but do you see any other teams trying to make a move for him on draft night? Any other team?
Mm, let me think about this. I mean, my knee-jerk reaction is no, because
Uh,
like who would be the other? I guess the only other one I could really, really see is like maybe they do a sign and trade with Charlotte for Miles Bridges. You
mm,
know, they don't want to lose Miles Bridges for nothing, but they also don't want to pay him that type of a big money deal that he's looking for because I think they offered him something like 14 million a year last year, and he turned it down smartly. So maybe I guess maybe Atlanta. I don't know though. I feel like Atlanta would have pulled the trigger on that now because they're struggling pretty mightily. Who were the? It was the Lakers, the Blazers, and the Wizards were the ones that were reported as having the most interest in Jeremy Grant. I mean, the Lakers would have to pull off some bananas magic for them to get even a first round pick for the Pistons to start considering that. I would think, right? And then the Wizards, I don't know. Again, that one I'm not sure what the package is, and does Bradley Beal stay or does he go? Because he has a player option that it's looking like he might just decline and get them to sign him to the Supermax and get out of there or whatever. If he stays, that's another one though that maybe they have like a pick or something else. I'm not excited about that one, but that would probably be the other one. It would be Blazers first, and then the Wizards, and then maybe Charlotte. Charlotte might be the dark horse.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know what to talk else to talk about.
I forgot one free agent because I was looking through the free agents when we were doing this. It was Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba's a free agent.
Oh yeah.
This off season, he'd be somebody worth taking a gamble on. I think, just because he's young, he can shoot that three. He's super lanky, 7 foot, 231, 9.9 points per game right now. 33.9% from three, 56.8% from two, pulling in 7.9 rebounds and 1.8 blocks. Like, I would rather have him over Bagley, to be quite honest. Like, I think Bamba shoots the three better, is a better defender, and like Bagley's probably the better athlete. But I personally would want Bamba over Bagley.
I like Mo Bamba too. You know what's the craziest fact about him? I believe that dude's got like a 7'8" wingspan, if I'm not.
Yeah. I remember when he was in the combine, it was like the biggest they ever measured.
Yeah. Got like dinosaur arms, man. Like,
yeah, he's 23 too. 23, still a young dude. I don't know if him or Mitchell Robinson's younger. Let's take a look.
yeah.
Yeah, Bamba's 23. Mitchell Robinson's also 23, so both similar in age.
Yeah, man, them long arms, man. I seen it. His arms look like he came out of a video game.
I remember when he first showed up in NBA 2K and like he pops up on the opposition. I was like, what? Like that has to be wrong. And then I was reading up on all, like you said, his measurables and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like go gadget arms, man.
Yeah, but I think this wraps it up. Great talking to you. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. Make sure to go check out his articles. I will post the article and link in the description. Make sure you go read it. Share it to the Pistons group. Go do all of that. If you support me, you should support him. You know, no doubt. But enjoy your day, bro. Have a good one. It's always a pleasure talking to you, man.
See you, man. I'll see you next time.
See ya. Peace.